and welcome back to The Marketing Hustle. This is another bonus episode where we're trying something a bit different. So I posted on LinkedIn to see if anyone wanted to interview me, and Carly, who is a fantastic brand strategist, and she'll introduce herself and tell you all about what she does, volunteered to come and ask me some questions. And Carly said that she wanted this to be salacious, so I really hope we're delivering on this. The Marketing Hustle is a series of interviews with founders, some interviews with me and some interviews with CMOs, where I try and get under the skin of what makes great startup marketing. So if you enjoy this, check out the rest of our episodes. Before I let Carly jump in and take control of the show and see how salacious she can get, I thought I'll take a minute to explain to you what I actually do, because I know it can get really confusing. So Upworld is a community and curated learning for people in marketing. If you or your team are after more personal development, they need to sign up. Up Talent is a recruitment business, and I never wanted to be a recruiter, but I was so fed up with the other options available that many moons ago I started trying to do it right and build a service I was really proud of. And today we build incredible teams matching people with jobs that they never would have found otherwise. And finally, Brand Hackers is fractional marketing teams for brands with big dreams. So there are now 20 experts full-time in the team doing phenomenal work for brands in all different kinds of categories. So if that feels like what you need, get in touch. Over to Carly to see where it goes to. Hello.
Hello, Lottie.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming over.
I mean, I'm interviewing you, so I should be like, welcome to my podcast today.
Well, you're in my house. So do you want to start by introducing yourself?
Absolutely. So I'm Carly. I'm the founder of Sprowt, and we work with brands to really think about those big ideas, but also the tiny details. And in my spare time, I am a NED and acting CMO for Valerie, which is a startup perimenopause brand that's basically going, menopause category is broken and really needs to be reimagined. And we're coming in guns blazing. We're going to tear down things, mix shit up, and basically say, women, you deserve better.
Yeah.
And because I'm a marketer, I'm also going to say, if you type the code Carly OH into the checkout, you will get 30% off.
There you go. We'll get that in the show notes. Is the menopause category broken or is it non-existent?
It's existing.
Is there
there is one.
I don't feel like I know it.
One.
What is it?
It's very, feel empowered. We're going to help you.
Oh.
Like it's very grubby. It's very. But I look at myself, and the way we've kind of really thought about our customers is these are women who are life enthusiasts. These are the women who are coming into perimenopause now, who are the same women who are shotting at the bar.
Yeah.
Basically having the time of their life. They are still the same people. They just happen to be in this life stage. So basically,
they're not necessarily not at the bar anymore.
No, they're still at the bar.
Yeah.
Still having a lovely time.
Yeah.
And for us, it's about going, well, these are our people. Let's design a product and a brand world that is for them.
Yeah.
So we've got playing around with a lot of stickers at the moment, and it's all around no fucks era and basically making people go, yeah, this is the brand that's for me.
Yeah.
So last year to launch the brand, we went to Annie Mac and we did a bit of a hijacking takeover outside. And we just met all these amazing women, and they were like, oh my God, thank God, this is speaking my language. I'm not being told, oh darling, well, you're basically old and haggard and but basically go and die over there. Yeah. So we're trying to really refuel it.
So exciting.
I read something once that you've built your entire career on saying things that other people don't say. So I want to use that as the theme for this interrogation today.
Okay, this
I
is
want
fun.
you to go wild. I want you to go spicy. I want you to basically let it all out.
Okay, but will you come with me? You've got to throw into me your own space. You're not throwing me under the bus on my own.
Never more grandmaster plan. So I want to start with my first question is, what pisses you off the most about marketing right now?
I think we've just forgotten that our jobs aren't Instagram feeds. Mm-hmm. And it really annoys me. And I think it's really sad. Mm-hmm. And I don't think everyone's forgotten. I think there's a real polarisation of talent.
Okay.
There are people that get that it's about strategy and it's about decision making and it's about understanding a customer and responding in a particular way. Mm-hmm. And then there are people who think that it can just be about tactics and it's just about how pretty your email looks and what your grid looks like and maybe whether you've gone viral on TikTok once. Mm-hmm. And that makes me annoyed because I think it's doing such a disservice to our trade.
Yeah.
And I think it's really sad for young talent. I think it's totally misleading and a really terrible way of building a career. And I think we've got a reputational issue anyway for being the colouring in department and not being allowed into the commercial conversations. And it's not like everything's in our favour. So I don't think we've got the kind of brand equity as a as a department to start letting ourselves slip. And I think we're doing that. So I find that frustrating.
Yeah, I would echo that. I think for me, we've become so reductionist. It's either this or this. It's got to be one thing or the other. We're not thinking about everything joined up together around a central, cohesive strategy that is ultimately there to deliver business.
Yes.
And make sales, make money for the business.
Yes.
I think we've completely forgotten all of that.
And I don't think it's right to be as reductionist as to say it's generational. But I think there are marketeers coming into the industry, kind of sub 30, but it's probably connected to COVID, people who haven't sat in boardrooms, who haven't heard the big commercial conversations, who've had a very different upbringing in the industry, who really don't seem to understand that this is about selling stuff. And that there's such a disconnect from the role of a content creator or the role of a designer or the role of a brand thinker and why we're in those jobs.
So how do you think we get that seat back at the table? I love the colouring department. It's how you felt a lot of times. We're being further and further away from those key decisions. We're seen as a cost centre rather than actually a revenue generator.
Yeah.
How do we get back in there? Like, what do we need to do?
Ask a fuck ton of questions.
What questions?
How does this business make money? Ask your CEO what gets them out of bed in the morning. Ask them what they think about late at night. Ask them why they're worried about that. Ask them what they take to the board meeting. Ask to see the board deck. Understand. I mean, in all the coaching I do, I always say, follow the money. Understand where value creation is really made in the company. And understand that is not revenue, but really where is the money coming from? Is it bottom line? Is it long-term value growth? Is it an exit strategy? Start there and then tell the customer stories that explain how you're going to get to that money. So I think our jobs are to be the voice of the customer and to explain how a brand lives in the real world in a way that is data led, whether that's like quant or qual. It doesn't all need to be hard data, but it's like rich stories, and explain the commercial opportunities through the lens of marketing, but pull all of that back to the money.
Do you think we've lost our curiosity? Do you think people are just being more inherently lazy, they're prepared to sit back, or do you think we're just not being taught? Are we scared? What is it? What is stopping us?
I don't think we've lost our curiosity. I think it might be channeled in the wrong places.
Okay.
And I'm wondering whether, part of this is also there's a landscape where the idea of what is marketing is getting pulled so thin. So you've now got a content creator on one side of a spectrum and a performance marketing analyst on the other side of a spectrum, all of which sit under marketing. And that's not new, but it's also not the way it used to be. There used to be more of a generalist role for a commercial marketer, which is, I guess, kind of how I would see myself, a sort of middle of the road, terrible at both of those two extremes. But I understand what the core of this function is about as I see it.
Yeah.
And I do think maybe that plays into it, that those roles are diluted and there's more expectation. And so I'm not sure that any part of that puzzle is less curious, but I think we're losing perspective. And maybe that's about how businesses are being run differently, that top-down vision isn't being shared in the same way.
And do you think because I see that role as also that conductor, they're pulling it, they're driving, they're saying more of that, less of that, pulling it together, that we're pulling these people out. And actually we're thinking so much okay, this is a channel that does this is a channel that does that. We're not thinking about the kind of holistic picture of it all coming together.
Yeah, I definitely think that. And I think it's a really challenging riddle because you need these channels of expertise, right? And yet the ceiling to that expertise is quite real, because all of that joins back up to a conductor role. And if you are in your functional area as an incredible CRM manager who's very technical, there is quite a big shift between you and that leadership role. So I think it's all about the changing shape of the function, actually.
Okay. My next question for you is, what hot take, and I'm going to roll my eyes because I loathe hot takes to my absolute soul and core. What advice is everyone listening that they really need to shut out and ignore?
Ooh. Why do you loathe hot takes?
Oh, I just fucking hate loads of hot takes because I think everyone jumps on, hot take, everyone has the same hot take opinion. There is very
so
rarely...
what hot take is really overrated?
What is an actual hot take? Unless you get in there first or are able to spin it with an interesting perspective. It's just the same. You scroll LinkedIn, you're like, oh, again. Everyone has the same opinion.
Yeah.
It's just sameness in a different form.
Yeah. I don't know if this is quite an answer to your question. I'll be really interested to hear what you think about this. But I think the way we're talking about AI is not helping anyone at the moment.
Yeah.
So do I think AI is a misleading hot take? No, I'm not gonna be the person that goes on record saying I think AI is a waste of time. That would be foolish. But I think that we are still so naive in the way we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of gone from being absolutely nothing to being incredibly overwhelming instantly. And so there's just this like fascinating mess of like the voices that are saying, you know, like the kind of conservative voices who are like, oh, this is a bit funny, isn't it? And you know, and I'm kind of going to be a bit old-fashioned about this and stick my flag in the sand about an old, proper, authentic way.
Yeah.
And that I don't think is particularly helpful. And then there are people who are almost trivialising it as like, this is just about time-saving solutions and it's just about like these 5 tools that are going to make everything better overnight. And that I don't think feels right either. So it's not quite the answer to your question, but it's an area where I don't feel like the narrative is right.
I also think it's a classic binary. It's either this or this. So there's one or the other. You've got to be in this camp or this camp, and that camp's wrong and that camp's wrong. So we're not, it's the same when TV came out, when social came out. It's the same conversation around a different topic. And I actually think, like for me, I got excited about AI about 5 years ago when I met someone at a talk and they were talking about developing this piece of AI for women in Africa able to detect early signs of breast cancer. For me, that was like, wow, this is an absolute game changer.
Yeah.
And that's what I care about, the like potentials of an AI. It's not about machine learning. Oh my God, can it tighten my text? Yes, it can. Can it do that? I just think the potential is so incredible. We're able to crunch so much data in such a quick amount of time and see solutions, and it will hopefully advance where we're going a lot quicker.
I also think the hot take I'm kind of ruminating on this, thinking, what's the hot take that I can say that I think the hot takes that are out there are wrong? What's the one I want?
Yeah.
What I want people to be saying?
Yeah.
And I think what I want is the hot takes about how to make this habitual, and how to make the small wins, and how to get started when it feels like the landscape is polarised into the like rejectors and the pros. And that's the space that would be really great to get some more noise in.
Nice.
Not that I can pretend to lead from the front there, but...
So the way I'm saying it, in 2025, originality seems to have died. We see a lot of challenger brands. I'm going to use challenger brands in inverted commas because I think a lot of brands call themselves challenger brands, where in fact they're just an extra person in the category that's coming in. We have like a sea of Oatleys, Tonys, Innocents, Surreals, flavour of the month. That's the brand that everyone wants to be.
Yeah.
Again, how did we get there, and why, and how do we stop brands from thinking like this and just wanting to be another copycat?
Well, this is making me laugh because I was on Ruth Fittock's podcast recently, and Ruth and I basically like talked around this and got to this like worldview that challenger brand is now only an aesthetic.
Okay, interesting.
That there's like a look.
Yeah. I would
and
say.
a tone.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing it actually now means.
Yeah.
In the way it's used.
Yeah.
So, I think it's become an aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
So if we go back to what Eat Big Fish say is challenger brand thinking, and I like still dine out on those books.
Yeah, me too.
I like that's the thinking. It's have a very, very clear monster
100%.
and be a brand, it's in the name, that is challenging something. And the thing you're challenging is not like a soft, abstract problem that like really isn't that painful for anyone. It's like a proper thing. It's an incumbent in the market, or it's a really clear point of view, or it's an existing perspective that is so deep set that to unshake that is truly challenging something. And that I completely agree with. Where I think we went a bit wrong was the assumption that everyone needs to do that. And the assumption that everyone needs to do that and that there's no role to just be better than.
Yeah.
Like there's like premiumization is a huge growth lever in so many categories. And that's great. They're not challenging the lack of a premium option in whatever. They're just making a better thing that's a bit more expensive. And that's a great strategy. It's just not a challenger brand strategy.
Totally agree.
So I think that's like absolutely part of the problem. And then it got trendy. And I think it's so funny that marketers are the victim of marketing.
Yeah.
We like got in this thing that everyone had to be doing that. And then the last bit is that we got stuck in a worldview that only sexy categories can have challenger brands.
Yeah.
You can be a deeply unaesthetic, unsexy, effective challenger brand.
100%.
Really.
100%.
And that's not like putting purple Pantones everywhere is not the same thing.
Oh, I totally agree. This is music to my ears because for me, the most exciting brands I work in are the unsexy categories. No one's interested. I love a commodity. I'm like, give me a commodity. So I've got an obsession at the moment. I want to work in a funeral brand. I want to work to reimagine what death looks like and the whole death experience. And then what we're doing with Valerie and on a side note, what am I? I'm a Ned.
Who am I?
Who am I? What am I doing in my accent?
That's a whole other episode.
I sit as a Ned for them, but I'm also acting as a CMO. And what we're doing is fundamentally looking at the menopause category and going, this is fucked. It's not fit for purpose. It's not going to be solved with nicely. It's going to take someone to come and bulldoze the conversation and turn it from this passive, we're talking out to there, to bring it out in the light. So what we're doing with them, I would say, it speaks to that Eat Big Fish strategy, the lighthouse brands, and all of those. And that's I reread it when I came on board with Valerie because I was like, this is how we need to behave. We need to have this construct at the start to really be that force for change and to just say, these are the rules of the category that we need to keep. This is that we can, everything else we can break. Let's go forth and break it.
What I'm wondering is whether, so I sometimes wonder if actually being a great challenger brand is expensive.
I think it is.
And that I think is an irony because it gets used as like a David and Goliath story. So I'm a small upstart in this well-established category and I'm going to use challenger brand thinking to steal market share. That's kind of tends to be like, I mean, at least the language I suspect you and I hear it in.
Yes.
The fundamental problem with that is that you're doing something really hard because the consumer behaviour shift isn't, oh, you used to buy that thing, so actually you can just buy the thing one right of it or like one link down. It's, can you think fundamentally different about a category or can you unlodge real loyalty to another brand in a category? Because
it's ultimately deep-seated habitual purchases quite often that you need to come in and bulldoze.
Well, it has to be, otherwise you're not challenging enough. And I assume, knowing a number of the people involved, maybe not billions of pounds of funding.
Oh, not at the moment. Not yet.
just taking a punt. So is what we're saying that Valerie can be a true challenger? Or are we actually saying like that's a bit of a mad strategy for a business of that size?
Oh, it's a totally fucking bonkers strategy.
But you're going to go for it.
But we're going to go for it. But I think we're also going, what can we do? What levers can we pull to make disproportionate amounts of tension? How can we do things that either from a distribution perspective where we're going to show up and sell, that we can meet the women where they are right now? And how do we do that in a different way to every other brand out there? But we're also thinking about how can we inject on kind of big brand energy where we come up and show up a lot bigger than we are. Therefore, again, unlocking distribution, because that is the key thing that we need to be thinking about is mental availability, but also physical availability and how those pieces of the puzzle work together. So it is bonkers, but we've got a plan and we're going to get there.
Great. Okay. So we've agreed, I love this. We've agreed that challenger brands require big budget, but we've also agreed that you have to do it anyway. You
have to do it anyway, and you've got to start. But I also think challenger is a lot about mindset as well, because I think there is this big problem, and especially because my background was originally working with big brands. So I had lovely budgets to do lots of amazing creative things.
Yeah.
Big reach, it was lovely. But then when I switched over and working with much more scaling brands or startups, can't do the same thing, so you have to embed creativity more at the heart. So you've got to do things that go, okay, how can we grab this? How can we get that one person, that second person, that third person to fall in love with the brand? And being really selective, and this is where that strategy really comes in. Being like, who is our customer? Who is she really? I'm going to use the case of Valerie at a soul level.
Yeah.
Like how is she thinking and moving through the world and building, I suppose, meeting her where she is emotionally and physically.
Yeah. I love it.
I love it. So, watch out, world.
I know.
Coming.
I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm so pleased that like a group of people I really rate are taking on that category.
Terrifying.
Godspeed.
I'm a big fan of the Pareto principle, which effectively 80% of your results come from 20% of the stuff you do.
Yeah.
This is going to be a sweeping generalization, as every single brand is different. But where do you think brands in the year that we call 2025, where should people be focusing their attention on?
So I don't think that most of the brands I work with have a choice to entertain any other way of operating.
Interesting.
And so it's kind of Pareto applied a bit differently, which is like you can only do one or two things to any standard. So I suppose it's the opposite law. It's like 100% of what you do has to deliver 100% of the results. And if you try and do 33, 33, 33, you get 0. So I talk a lot about the importance of just being incredibly clear on what the single next milestone is. So Valerie's a really interesting case study. You're talking about the importance of distribution. You know that until there is a distribution kind of unlock, everything beyond that is unclear, irrelevant, a waste of energy, really low returns.
Yeah.
Sure, you could do lovely things that would set you up for a future post that moment, but you probably don't have the privilege that you'll be alive then. You know, like all startups are like, there are these death knell moments where if I don't hit that funding milestone, I don't get that distribution by that point, if I don't get that, then I'm not around. So sod the size of my database or sod, whatever other metric will make me look great then, because you won't be there to tell that story. So I think the way I see it is like just obsessive focus, uncomfortably obsessive focus on the thing in front of you, and kind of just ignoring everything else and being like, that's a future me problem.
Interesting.
But with the agility to as soon as you get that distribution, you need to be in a meeting room the next day going, right,
what's next?
How the fuck are we going to how are we going to activate this distribution? And really be really excited and comfortable with the fact that the plan might be, somewhere in the back of your brain you've got some thoughts, but the waste of time in working on the plan for the thing that's not necessarily a reality is just colossal. So I think that to your question on kind of what should businesses be focused on, I don't think there's a one size fits all answer, because I think it's very specific to life stage, commercial context, what is actually going on for that company at that moment. I think everyone I think there's a real problem with people spending a little bit of money on content and getting nowhere.
Yeah.
They're kind of doing a bit of it by halves. And so I think for a lot of brands, it's either really nail down on your distribution or really nail down on what's going to help you unlock investor returns, which might be some like really tactical revenue opportunities that's going to get you through the next raise, or it's do organic and paid really fucking well, and that means take your content really, really seriously. I would love more brands to turn off social and say, we're actually just not set up. Either turn it off or do an intentionally really bad job.
Okay.
But this kind of middling, you know, the kind of...
Post once a week. It's going to be a bit bland.
It's going to be a bit bland, and we're going to look at the numbers and go, it's like all quite slow and meh.
Yeah.
That, I think, is a bit of a waste of time.
Okay.
So that's not a one answer, but I think it's a common problem.
So then kind of talk me through. So if we're focusing on right now, what's our next milestone? Let's hit this. How much attention should we be then putting to the grand vision of this is where we're going to be? Or do you think too many brands
I think
focus?
we get so wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
I think you need to know where you're going, roughly. Is it east or west?
Yeah.
Know the direction of travel. I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do think it's enough.
And I suppose this is a hard task because investors are like, model out what's the next 5-10 years look like, what does that look? But actually, is this a red herring and actually taking our time and attention away from the job to be done right now?
Big time. We all know that that's worth the paper it's written on. They do, we do. So do the exercise, because it's like fun navel gazing. But, I know what the big slugs are.
Yeah.
But I think we get really distracted. And I just think so often, if you take like a food and drink brand, so often it's like, I just need distribution in one retailer.
Yeah.
And actually to unlock that, there is one stakeholder.
Yeah.
Sod what your customer database thinks, sod what the industry thinks. If your strategy is, I'm going to get that one stakeholder to fall in love with me by making everyone in the industry tell them at every event how cool I am, great, do that, but do that in such a tactical way. Or if your strategy is, I'm going to show them that I've got the most engaged customer community of any brand in my category, great, but fudge it. Like, do what it takes to get to that outcome, to get over the line for the next thing. Yeah, and I think this comes back to like, I don't know, it feels like trite to say, but like, there's a bit of an endemic of purpose brands and this like grandiose thing. Like, we're all just trying to stay alive, get the next like bit done, get the next bit of cash in, get through the next milestone.
Sell some products.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think it's kind of where we started. I think we really forget that our jobs are to sell products to ultimately make someone money.
Yeah.
And also to change the world, you know, and I love that we get to change the world a bit as we go. And I'm not being trite or dismissive about that, but I think we do ourselves a huge disservice as a department if we go start daydreaming.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really fair point. And for me, I work a lot with B Corp brands, but my ultimate goal is to make them so desirable that people buy more of them.
Yes.
Because then you can infiltrate
Yes.
and get people to change their behaviours that way.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's to say that those two things aren't mutually exclusive at all. It's not that if you're chasing the sales, you're grubby or like not pursuing an impact-led goal. And we spoke to Evo from Too Good To Go in a recent episode, and that he talks about the win-win-win of that. So customers save money and get quality food for less. Partners, like your local bakery, get rid of food and make some money from food that they otherwise would have had to throw away. And the planet is benefiting because they're saving like 300,000 to 400,000 meals a day.
Bloody hell.
It's absolutely crazy. And then the other win is that the business is profitable.
Yeah.
So they're not mutually exclusive.
Again, it comes down to this binary concept that we that or this. There are multiple things. It's an and equation. So many things can be true at once.
Yeah, and the ex-CEO of Ben & Jerry's talked to Big Up Club, our community marketing directors, about this so powerfully, and she said, yes, Ben & Jerry's is a real purpose-led organisation, and it's very important to her that purpose is part of this, and that was like absolutely a motivating factor. But if profit, but she, in order to protect that, she had to be single-mindedly obsessed with profit. Because even though everyone in that business knew that, she knew that the moment the numbers started to look challenging, the questions would have to be asked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that gave her very clear, to get to her end goal, which was purpose and impact, she had to be completely focused on the thing in between, which was profit.
And I think, again, this is what we forget, that we go into these businesses and like, oh, we can just do good. Again, it comes back to the commercial and following the money, following those numbers and just being so crystal clear about what they are.
Yeah, and it makes me really cross. Like when the mid-level marketeers going around businesses saying, like, I'm just brand building.
Oh.
Like, you can't ask questions, like, this is brand building activity.
Yeah.
Not acceptable. And, you know, we're working on impact here. Not acceptable. Like, you're not working for charity. And actually, if you were working for charity,
you're dumb. I do some pro bono work for charity. No, we're grilled even more.
Yeah, and actually, I'm going to apologise for suggesting that, because they have an even greater onus to be responsible with how funding is spent, and delivering like ROI is so critical. Maybe you're not working for a think tank. Maybe that would be the better.
Maybe I need to. That's my next goal.
Need a ned job for
sit there and
sort of advisory thing.
What's the one thing you've said so often that you might as well get a tattoo or slap it on your face?
Post on LinkedIn every day.
Okay.
Because it's really good. It really makes a difference. And then what's the objective?
Okay.
I get mocked like mercifully by my team, because they'll basically send me a document, and at the top of it it'll be like, the objective is in it's like an internal joke, but I just feel like so often I'm presented work and I don't really know what it's about.
Yeah, agree, totally agree.
And it's not that it's bad. I'm like, this is lovely, but why?
But why? Yeah.
And like, no one has ever said to me in any business I've worked with, I've got loads of time at the moment, and like, actually I'm feeling really flush. Said no one ever. So we're all perpetually overwhelmed. We're all addicted to feeling busy. And yet we love generating work that we're not clear on why we're doing it.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is not great. Not really serving anyone.
I agree with that. And I think it also comes down to ideas. And in the past, I've worked in many places where you get presented a lovely idea, but why? What's it going to do? What's it going to drive? What is the purpose of this at the heart? Because there is a great quote, I can't remember who wrote it, but basically, without the objective behind, without the strategy, it is just art. And art, I'm a big art lover. Like, my house is just a gallery of pieces that make me feel things. But I know the difference.
Different place.
It's a different place.
Yeah.
And again, it comes back to this work needs to nudge people towards a sale. It might not be that sale right now, but it needs to bring them into that world where they start feeling things about the brand.
And I think it's what's the objective, but it's also why is that the objective that matters. So actually, like, that's not tattooed on my face yet, because I'm still asking the first question. And it'll be a real sign of cultural change that I've driven when we move on to the next, which is, and is that the right one? And that, you know, is where we started, which is like, I think marketers have really lost the ability to diagnose a situation and present a strategic choice that is the right priority. I use the metaphor a lot that we're kind of just like slashers. We like, if a surgeon is very incisive, they do keyhole surgery, they know exactly what they're doing. When we go into business, it's kind of with a machete, just going like, oh, just have a bit of a go. And it's like a bloodbath, and maybe we've solved, you know, like somewhere in that we do something good.
Yeah.
But the lack of precision in the way that I think we often operate, because of this like lack of training and focus on really good diagnosis and really good like strategy with a small s. Just making a good decision and being articulate about why you've made that decision.
And also remembering that strategy is as much about what you don't do as much
It's
as
only about what you don't
do.
Absolutely. Like, it's only about taking the list of like what we think the playbook should be and just deleting and deleting and deleting and deleting and deleting, especially in the worlds we operate in where no one has enough time or money.
Yeah. I want to talk about this posting on LinkedIn every day and the concept of personal brand that we're seeing everywhere.
Yeah.
I hate that term, and I hate the term that it's been used to talk about followers. And whereas for me, I fundamentally believe a personal brand is your whole self. It's how you show up in a meeting, your integrity, the work you do. Again, how do we get more people to see this? That it's not just, I'm going to post on LinkedIn all day. Your personal brand is built from the small conversations you're having, how you're helping people and guiding people.
Oh. It's kind of hard because it's like, it's so dangerous if you think it's not that. Your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room, really.
Yeah.
What doing stuff like posting on LinkedIn does, or going on the radio or whatever, is kind of encourage more people to say something when you're not in the room. It's like a reach tactic. It's not actually changing the fundamental brand.
Yes.
So you define your brand and then you amplify it in the same way you would with any business.
So essentially, it's not building a personal brand, it's marketing your personal brand.
Exactly.
It's that.
It's amplifying and creating a platform for your personal brand, which should, and then the key thing is that should be consistent. So what you don't want if you're selling, I was going to say hummus because like that pregnant brain, hummus was what came into my brain, a food craving for hummus. If you're selling hummus, what you don't want is the thing that's on your packaging on shelf to be miles different from the thing you put on your billboard. And with your personal brand, you don't want the person that you go for a beer with to be miles different from the person you see on LinkedIn, because that feels incongruous.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's exactly the same. What I'm kind of like smiling about is, like, I have a funny relationship with it. And I've had amazing mentors in the past who said to me things like I chronically bite my fingernails and they often bleed. And a really impressive woman once said to me, like, that's really bad for your career. Like, you really need to sort that out, because what that's saying about you is anxiety and a lack of polish. And, she was basically saying that's really not very good for your personal brand because you look a bit of a mess. And she was right.
Yeah.
And why I was kind of smiling when we were talking about it was I was like thinking back to that advice and going like, fuck, I really haven't sorted that out. That was quite a long time ago. And yes, in some respects, I'm like, yes, of course, your personal brand is how you show up everywhere. And then I definitely invest in different outlets of my personal brand in different ways. So I think it's a really good reminder that these little cues do matter and that they are presenting a picture. I've just really tried to relax about the whole thing and just stop. Like, if I go textbook about it and think, let me make a mood board of how I want to be seen and let me design, like, let me do my brand book.
Yes. I've got my pillars, I've got this.
I can't. Then I turn off and it terrifies me and I feel really inadequate. This huge gulf between actually who I am and this like beautiful Pinterest board becomes overwhelming. So I've intentionally never let myself go there. Instead, I just try and just like do every interaction in a way that feels honourable and authentic, and fuck some up and apologise when I do, and try and have the humility to say I've really got that wrong. And there are many times I have got things really wrong.
But then I also think this is a personal brand because it's human, and it's your
and so maybe that's my pillar.
Yeah.
Maybe I've just gone, okay, there's one pillar and it's just like
just me. You're mine.
and I'm going to live that in the full. You're probably right. I just definitely know that a bit of refining wouldn't go amiss.
Yeah, you're consistent. I am the most consistently inconsistent person.
Someone asked me recently why I wasn't on Instagram, like why I hadn't chosen Instagram as like a personal brand channel. I was like, because my life is just the most unaesthetic mess. Like, I just so don't live like that at least I can hide behind a selfie and a like really good reason why that's not what I'm doing.
Yeah. The brands that make it and the brands that fail, what's the difference? Is it drive? Is it experience of the team? Is it luck? Is it appetite for risk? Is it kind of strong strategic commercial plan? Or is it something else, or a mixture of everything?
In the last 5 years, I think a sad amount of it has been when they last raised.
Okay.
I think timing has been timing, and some of that's been just genuinely how the cookie crumbles, and some of it's been leadership teams, commercial foresight, and ownership of the numbers. So I don't want to say it's all just been like bad luck, but I think we've seen post-COVID some really brilliant ideas not work, just because the last raise was at the wrong moment, and then the market took a turn. So I don't think that's not the whole answer, but I do think that's part of the puzzle at the moment. I think the flip of that is the businesses that do work are the leadership teams who are ruthlessly clear on what it's going to take to stay alive. And ruthlessly focused on where there's customer traction. And it's all about not getting distracted. Just not spreading resources too thin. Not falling so in love with your own vision of what something is that you lose sight of what the market, like what the customer's actually telling you. I'm so fascinated by like different founder psychologies and different leadership team psychologies. And ultimately that you can take two people running quite similar businesses who both want very, very different things, and that creates incredibly different paths. And so I think there are people who like go into this world kind of open to failure. You know, it's like this is, you know, it's like the VC backed world. Like this is either going to be a 100x return or I'm dead. And I'm okay with that. And I find that like,
I find it terrifying.
I'm just like literally, are you okay? Like, so, like getting cold sweats, can't deal with that at all. It's so not how I operate or think about the world. But I think, some businesses fail because they're really comfortable with that.
And I also think some businesses know that it's often not the first business, it's the second or the third one, because it's the learning and it's the experience. I've been there before. I've known where I've got distracted. I've known where I've chased a red herring, and actually the second time around, I'm brutal, I'm relentless. This is where we're going to focus.
But I wonder if they think that in the moment. Like, I don't know if you can allow. I think
you won't go in with that mind that this is going to fail.
You can't. It's too hard. You have to be able to do this like really powerful compartmentalization where you go, this is everything. And then the moment it's not everything, you take a 6-week break, pull yourself back up again and go again.
But I think a lot of people don't know when to quit as well.
Well, in business, but also in life. I think this is such a fascinating, it's something I'm only like seeing as I get older. Our addiction to the act of pursuit.
I think it's also kind of that, is it the sunk cost fallacy? Where we're just chasing it because I've put so much time in this that I know when I started my business, I was so guilty of this. I was like, this is the vision I want. I've just got to keep working, peddling it, not listening to what the market was telling me. But then actually when I had the wake up call and I went, no, if I do it like this, then the traction will come. Then I can start finding product market fit and building from there.
It's so hard to know. If there's a great book out there as to like when actually is the moment to quit. Because I've had many a conversation with an advisor who said, like, of all the things I do that I'm trying to do too much and that I'm sticking out all of them for too long and that I should quit. You know, I can talk a really good game about prioritization and then I run 3 businesses in a podcast. It's nuts. And yet I still can't quit. And I can give you a very good argument as to why I'm not doing it, which I really believe. But I also think there's a very good argument as to why I should close half of what I do. And I'm not going to, because I've thought about it enough. But I think I see the irony in myself that I'm doing what I would coach someone else into not doing.
Every day.
Every
day.
the story of being human, which is like it's so much easier to give the advice than to take it.
But then there's also there's one thing that's going to just keep going, because there's going to be one thing that suddenly clicks into place and then it all comes. So it's such a hard dichotomy of like, do I quit now? Do I keep going? And then just focus relentlessly on that milestone.
Yeah.
And if you don't hit that milestone, well, then it's time to reappraise.
For that kind of business, I think there's another way of living where you're not worried about the milestones. Like I don't have any milestones for any of my businesses. I don't really care. I mean, I care a bit, but like really, I'm doing it for the journey.
Yeah.
And I think it's totally fine to do chunks of your career, to do projects, to do chapters, just for the joy of doing them. And if they're kind of moving towards some sort of, don't do them if it's going in the wrong direction. But like, I don't have a 3-year plan for anything. I don't have we've got some like made up revenue goals, but I'm pretty relaxed about not hitting them.
Yeah. I love that. I think about my personal life in terms of chapters. Like that was my chapter. I lived in Australia. That was that chapter. And then that was that chapter.
Yeah.
And it's just this really refreshing take when you go, feels good right now.
Yeah.
I'm building a portfolio career with lots of different interesting things. I've got an agency on the side. It feels good.
Great.
But who knows when that chapter is going to close and something else. And again, and I think my big unlock was I'm so clear on my vision about what I want to be able to do. I want to have the equity and the capital to be able to be that angel investor for lots of female-led businesses. I want to go in and make those fundamental changes. How I get there, God knows. We'll wing it. We'll figure it out.
And actually, if you just wake up every day knowing that that's where you want to get to, you kind of will.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
I wouldn't say that if there were like 100 people trying to do that with you.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the difference, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's like all of me having this view of saying I don't really have milestones, I'm in it for the journey, was totally fine when I was running a team of 5. And I could just go, don't really worry about it, but isn't it exciting? And like my energy I felt could pull people along. And now there's 33 coming to the summer party, which scares the living daylights out of me. That's not okay. I can't go, come on, team. Yeah. So instead, it has to be the PowerPoint that gets them going, not my pep talk.
Yeah.
And that journey, it's still a journey. Kind of the last 2 years of sort of realising that and then trying to articulate a totally different way of thinking it's been really hard. I don't think I'm quite nailing it.
But I also think when you do have people, that comes with the responsibility of going, no, I need to be bringing in this much money every single month in order to just meet salaries, let alone give profits.
It's like it's over 100 grand a month of payroll now.
Nice.
But it's funny because I say that and I'm like, no, thank you. But then 2 years ago, if I'd known where I was at, I'd say it's just your comfort.
Your
for
natural,
fear.
yeah. And I think as you grow, your comfort and your appetite, because you go, oh no, I've done this, and then it's that extra bit.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so you're in a room a lot with founders, VCs, CMOs.
Yeah.
What are you hearing that's keeping them awake at night? One.
Yeah.
And the second part of that, do you think that's the right thing that they're worrying about?
So VCs are worried about profit, kind of only, is what I'm hearing. Profit or rocket ships. Either way. Founders are worried about fundraising. They're worried about getting it right. I think that's quite a nervousness in founders at the moment. I think that's quite a cautious energy.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's feeling particularly bullish. There's a handful of people who are feeling quite proud of themselves. And I don't mean that in like a judgmental, like they should do. There are people who are really nailing it and they have a really lovely confidence and they walk into a room in a different way. And I think there's a lot of people who are just working really hard at getting it right.
Yeah.
And I think CMOs are feeling exhausted.
Yeah.
Because all the jobs underneath them have disappeared. And they're doing I use the word CMO loosely. I feel like I speak to kind of a head of marketing, a marketing director, a CMO, and it's all this like, who knows the difference? Yeah, exactly. People in marketing leadership roles, I think, are feeling really fried by the brief, which is basically, yeah, I've promoted you, but please do the job you used to do as well.
Yeah.
And they're not worrying about AI, but they should be. Not worrying, they're not like taking headspace to think about AI, and they should be. They're not doing like the real work on how to stop their team being overstretched and distracted, but they should be. And again, no judgment in this. I get it. It's because they're so tired. Mm-hmm. And they're being pulled so thin that the idea to worrying about someone else being pulled so thin is so complicated. And I think all of us are just, stuck in the trap of trying to do too much.
Do you think that's because we're spending too long in the doing at the moment? It's just one thing, we just got to get through this rather than taking that headspace to come out and start seeing I suppose, wood from the trees, whatever that quote is. Or do you think that actually we are doing quite a few of these strategy away days, getting the team together, but we're asking ourselves the wrong questions, or we're looking in the wrong places?
I think we do spend quite a lot of time thinking about strategy, and I don't think that strategy is that time consuming. I don't think it's hours in equals output. To be honest, I think it's about like bravery, and I think it's about a culture that says, I back you and I'm not going to waste your time throwing you in other directions. And so that is kind of all connected, right? It's like if your VC is worrying about money and your founder's feeling a bit nervy and you're a bit tired, it's quite challenging to say, this is what we're doing, this is all the stuff we're not doing, and to hold that line.
Yeah.
And so we spend probably too much time doing strategy because it doesn't take that long to do it well. Way too much time defending the strategy and faffing around, going back and forth on it and interrogating it and kind of failing to implement it because it's all getting knocked about. And that means that the implementation isn't very decisive. I think that's how it feels. This is very personal. I don't know how true this is of the world, but I'm so addicted to volume of output. And when you talked about the Pareto principle, it's so funny. I hear you say like 80% of our value comes from 20% of our output. And I'm like, yeah, but what if you just put 100% of the work in?
I'm going to try and make it.
And I'm like, I don't like, I know that's true. And I know that's like the kind of 4-hour work week, do a few things incredibly well, have really outsized input, outsized output from kind of reduced input. But I really struggle with a kind of need to be doing and I get little dopamine hits from being reactive and from being, I'm just a people pleaser.
Maybe a tendency for like productivity as well.
Definitely.
Just being busy.
I feel like I was taught that hard work equaled results.
Oh, 100%. And rest is bad.
Yeah, or now I've matured to rest is good if it allows more hard work.
Yeah.
That's the narrative I've allowed myself to get comfortable with, which is it's okay to rest if it means you can go twice as hard tomorrow.
Yeah.
But to go one step further and say actually sacking off loads of stuff and slacking is really good. And those are not grubby words. Those are great words that should be really celebrated. Hard, right? So hard.
Yeah.
But yet we can say, that principle, that's good. That's a good principle. And then we can go, but I'll just do another 2 hours tonight.
Yeah.
So,
but then if I'm doing an extra 2 hours on something that will make a difference.
Yeah, but how often are we doing that?
Next question, last one.
Let's not go there.
My last question of which brands are genuinely interesting you right now? Which ones do you think will become the next Wilds of the world? The ones that people will be in years to come heralding a huge success? And which ones do you think are just a little bit of smoke, a little bit of that's the brand of the moment?
Okay, so everyone's obsessed with Bold Bean, and I think they should be.
Yeah.
It's not like a creative answer. It comes up when I ask the same question to founders and CMOs. They get a lot of airtime, but I think they're right. There's a brand called Secret Linen Store, which makes bedding, that is, I think, such an incredible product and I'm absolutely desperate to get involved in their branding. So there are brands that I think have huge unlocked potential.
Yeah.
And then I think there's really interesting, I'm always fascinated by this. There's interesting moments where you watch a thing explode and you know that it's a fad and you know that the team know it's a fad and you know that that's making a business a load of money right now.
Yeah.
But you kind of can't help but go like, where's this going to end?
But then if the team know and if they know, is that a bad thing? I think it comes back to Prime, for instance. Prime was doing the thing a couple of years ago. Everyone was like, oh my God, this is such an exciting, it's going to be a big growth brand. Then you had the people being like, no, they're not building the right foundations. Ultimately, they were just making a fuck ton of money in the moment. Is that a bad thing?
So I think it all depends on the context in which it's set up. So my first job, I was at Procter & Gamble in the fragrance department. So Procter & Gamble make like Tampax and Fairy Liquid. And in one corner, there was fragrance, which made no sense. So we were like Dolce & Gabbana Beauty and Gucci and Hugo Boss. And we were just like up in our little world doing our nice thing. And we launched 007, the fragrance, the year that the film came out. And it was massive. Like globally, it had been under forecast. No one had any idea that it was going to become this huge thing. And it was like $24.99 a bottle. It was just, everything about it structurally made so much sense. And we had this massive year and then we forecast not to hit the same again the year after, but we were like, we're on to something. And so we forecast 80% of the volume the next year. And then we invested in a new variant, and there was a new fragrance and all of this stuff. And what happened, which with the benefit of hindsight is so obvious, is that it was a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
And the next year was like I can't remember the fact, it was 5% of what it was meant to be or something. And we were left with like literally kind of the world's supply of this thing stuck in warehouses. And it was this like massive forecasting issue. And so you're completely right, it doesn't matter if everyone knows it, sees it and responds to it.
Yes.
I'm so fascinated by what goes on in those businesses, how you play that. And like air fryer is the example that's in my head, because we were talking about this earlier. We were like, it's the George Foreman grill and then it's the air fryer. And like the air fryer will end.
Oh, 100%.
How are the air fryer team prepping for their demise? That's the question I want to know. Like, because presumably the brief becomes just slow down this decline.
Yeah.
Like, let's just not hemorrhage too fast.
Yeah.
And as we do that, let's maybe invent the thing that might be next so that we own that too. And I think, like, you'll leave and I'll think of 10 other examples of this, but I think that's a super interesting moment. Birkenstocks might be another one. Can Birkenstocks keep being Birkenstocks? Or has their moment, are they on a 30-year cycle?
Oh, I hope not. I've been a Birks girl for years. I love them.
So I think there's the loyalists.
Yeah.
But I think, I love that this is the conversation we're in. I think penetration of Birkenstocks has really spiked. And I think there are the people that have been in the category, been in the brand for a long time. And I think over the last 5 years, I think there's a ton of people who have never bought a Birkenstock before.
Yeah.
Like my mum used to tell me that Birkenstocks made you look like a troll. And I grew up being like, they make you look like a troll. And then
you now own six pairs.
I quite literally own 6 pairs. I have like my winter and my summer Birks, and I put my Birkenstocks away and get my Blundstones out. And I'm just like in this fad. And at some point I will exit out of that brand because its fad will be over. And then the loyalists will remain.
Yeah.
And so I think that's fascinating.
Yeah.
What do you do about that? How do you manage that? How do you have your eyes really open?
How do you go in by being like, this is an opportunity and this is right here, right now, time sensitive. How do we go in hard, but know in a couple of years we're going to be irrelevant?
Well, it's the Croc story.
Yeah.
Like every thing is replaced. Everything that has some kind of trend-led dynamic is replacing something that came before it.
Yeah.
And there's so many questions.
Yeah.
So how do you it's fascinating. How do you set yourself up to say, I need a lot of money right now because this is my moment.
This is my moment and it's going to be my moment for 3 years and then we're done.
and I'm going to leave on a high.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, and there'll be like the Kodak story of the brands that didn't know when to pull out of the market or stop spending, and then just basically erode all of those rainy day funds.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Lottie.
Pleasure. That was so fun. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed that, and I'm really curious to hear whether you actually did, and would like more of that kind of interview format, please do DM me and let me know what sort of angles you'd like us to get into. And if anyone out there wants to come around for a cup of tea and interview me, they are very welcome. So let me know. What would be so helpful is if you follow this podcast wherever you listen to those podcasts. Those numbers make a massive difference in terms of the quality of the guests that we can get on the show in the future and how much resource we can put into making this magical for you. Thank you so much for listening.